Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Newcastle once again, and we're going to do another one of the canned beers from the Wylam Brewery, and this is a collaboration that they did with Untappd Brewing Company, who you saw me review a few weeks ago from Manchester. So this beer is called Open to Persuasion, and it's a double IPA coming in at 8% ABV. Now from what I gather, this is a second version or a new version of one that they did that was called Open to Persuasion, but without this little 2 here. This one is hot with Brew 1, Ella, Citra and Mosaic. The other one had Cascade, Equinaut, Mosaic, Citra and another one that I can't quite remember at this point. But if you check out Craig at Kent Beer Reviews, he reviewed the original one. I'm not sure if he'll do this one, who knows, I'll ask him about that. But I'll put the link to his original review in the description for you below, and if he does this one as well, I'll stick that link in there for you as well. So do make sure you check out Craig. He's got a really nice channel and he reviews a lot of the kind of really good English beers, which I'll probably be stopping soon since I'm going back to Sweden. But this one should be really nice. I've had some really good beers both from Untappd and from Wylam, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the breweries involved here. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from both Wylam and from Untappd before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, prefecture, county, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to my brewery notes then. So Wylam Brewery was founded by John Boyle and Robin Layton in the small village of Wylam, just to the north of Newcastle, back in 2000. And both men had actually taken early retirement. So John had been a computer engineer, and he met Rob, who'd been a former sea captain but was also an avid home brewer. And John fixed Rob's PC, which apparently took a lot of time, and Robin and John agreed a payment of 5 gallons of the Weiss beer that they'd been drinking together. So Robin was really interested in the likes of barley wines, stouts and sours and things like that, which really weren't popular at beers at the time in that area, and both he and John wanted to see these beers reintroduced into their local pubs. So they got together and they produced their first beer, which was the Landlord's Choice, back in August 2000. It became very, very popular simply through word of mouth basically, but they started up their own company and then they moved premises to Headon on Wall in 2006, and then in 2016 they moved once again to a new site at the Palace of Arts in Exhibition Park in Newcastle, which is a 30-barrel brew house, and they've also got their restaurant there and tap room as well. It's somewhere that I really do need to go and check out because it's quite close to Jesmond in the centre of the city, so I really need to get up there and have a little look at that at some point, because I've heard that it's really good, and the beers that I've been having from Wylam recently have been pretty damn good as well. So if you want to try a good beer from the northeast of England, you can't really go wrong with Wylam. They're doing some really, really nice stuff. So anyway, on to Untappd Brewing then. So Untappd Brewing, as I've told you before, are based in Piccadilly in Manchester, and they were founded back in 2014 by Sam Dyson. So Sam studied maths and economics at university, and he homebrewed while he was studying because it was a source of cheap beer, and he felt that it was better than the stuff, you know, that he could actually buy out in the pubs and things like that. But over time he grew very fond of the science of brewing and the creativity it allowed, while still having quite a kind of central process that you could just mess around with. But he remained the head brewer for the brewery, but they also have another head brewer too, who's called Matt. But the brewery itself is located in Sheffield Street, close to the Piccadilly station in Manchester, and there's a lot of food producers and breweries in that area as well. It's really quite nice with all these railway arches with various different things around there. But every Friday and Saturday they also open up the brewery as a tap room as well, and you can go in and try a lot of the different beers that they do. But these guys are another brewery that are getting quite well known for their kind of hazy New England style IPAs and stuff like this. The beers that I had down there were really good, and you will see an Imperial Stout review from them coming up in the next little while as well. I filmed it quite a while ago, but I've just not quite got round to publishing that one yet, so you can look out for that in the fairly near future. But that's all you really need to know about both breweries involved here. If you want to read a little bit more about them, I'll put the websites in the description below and their Facebook pages as well, so you can follow them on there and keep up to date with all the latest things that are going on. But both breweries are quite prolific, and there's always new beers coming out from them as well. But let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer itself then. So I'll just let you have a little quick look at the artwork of this one before we open up. It's your typical kind of Wylam canned artwork on this one. They've always got these kind of 1960s, 1970s wallpaper type patterns on them. I always think it's quite funny when you see these things. As you can see here, as I was mentioning, the one that Craig reviewed was called Open to Persuasion, as in the word. This one has the little 2 in the brackets. As I'm saying, I think this is just a slightly modified recipe with different hops and things. There's the specs of the beer on the back. Like I said, 8% ABV this one, 3.5 UK units, 440 millilitres. As I always complain about this, I don't know why they don't just do 500 milliliter cans. It would make so much more sense, but I think the 440 millilitres, I think it's them copying these breweries over in New England for the US pint and things like that. And 400 mils, of course, in Sweden and Denmark is the kind of standard measure that you buy beer in. It's just, I don't know why they don't just stick to a half litre or something like this. But yeah, 8% double IPA. The hops in this one, as I mentioned to you before, are Brew 1, Ella, Citra and Mosaic. The Citra is a BBC one. I'm not quite sure what that is, but Mosaic is cryo, so I'm guessing it's cryo frozen or something like that. But really nicely presented beer. So let's get it out and get on with the tasting. Definitely looking forward to this. These IPAs from Wylam always tend to be pretty good, and if it's got track involved as well, then you know, even better, because they do some awesome stuff too. This can is going a little bit crazy, but as you can see, and as you would expect from the kind of IPA, this guy has poured a really nice kind of bright yellowy colour. There's a solid finger of a frothy head on this one. I would say it's a kind of creamy coloured head rather than a perfect white head. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see it is pretty much hazy. It's really, you know, it's not quite a lemony yellow, but it's not too far off it. It's almost like a lemon sorbet yellow or something like that. But 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of the head there. But overall, you know, looks pretty nice. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on. So yeah, it's a big kind of fruit bowl, this one. So yeah, mangoes definitely, a little bit of pineapple as well, which I think is the Ella, if I remember rightly. The Australian hop Ella gives you these lovely kind of pineapple-y notes. But yeah, a little bit, you're getting a wee bit of kind of tangerine, and there's some of the blueberries in there from those 2 notes kind of come from the Mosaic hop, of course. But there's a wee bit of the mangoes and the lychees from the Citra hop in there as well. There's a lot going on in this one. In terms of the fruit, it really has quite a bit going on. Some grapefruits, definitely a little bit of mango, some tangerines as well. Pineapple, like I was saying earlier. And a little bit of that kind of blueberry and lychee sort of thing. There's a lot of stuff going on in this beer. If you sugar it up a little bit more, you can get some of the sort of oaty and wheaty notes coming out of this. Yeah, definitely, it does have that oaty kind of creaminess to it. The oats are quite strong in this one, I would say. A little bit of a biscuity note as well. You can get a little bit of that biscuity, digestive biscuity sweetness. But yeah, that's nice. Yeah, a little bit of a, yeah, definitely a little bit of a nice kind of oaty note coming out of that. I love it when you get the oats just coming out of these New England IPAs. There's a little bit of grassiness to the beer as well, but mainly it's a juicy, fruity kind of thing and some nice kind of oaty notes as well. But overall, it smells like a really nice double IPA. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this one. So this is the Open to Persuasion, a double IPA brewed between Wylam Brewery in Newcastle and Track Brewing Company down in Manchester. Let's get stuck in. Slàinte, skål. Yeah, that's a really nice beer, that one. I mean, there's so many good New England IPAs going about these days. It's all about just playing around with different hop combinations, but they've done well with this. Yeah. The malt base in this one is just really quite smooth. It does remind me of the Into the Sun that I reviewed for you a few weeks back from the Track Brewing Company. Normally the Wylam ones I think are just a little bit thicker than that, but I think they've taken this one down a little bit and just put a bit more of a kind of creamy note into it, which is quite nice. Yeah, if you get the chance to have a go at this beer, Definitely do, it's nice. I mean, as I say, there's so many good New England IPAs going around these days, but that is, you know, that's definitely quite a nice one. I've got another can in the fridge that I'm going to review a little bit later that I think Track are involved in as well, and there's North Brewing Company involved too, but this is a good beer, that. So with this one, the malt base is fairly kind of straight up as you'd expect. You can feel a little bit of that kind of wheaty malt base just blanket in the middle of your tongue, that sort of white bready character coming out of it. There's a nice little bit of the kind of oaty creaminess in there as well, and right in the middle of your palate, just as it mellows out a little bit, you can pick up just a little touch of an almost biscuity flavour to this beer as well. But yeah, on the hoppy side of things, back corners of the palate, there's a little touch of earthiness there, but as you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, it's got quite a kind of spicy floral note there. I'm sure that's the Brew 1, because I have had one beer that's had that Brew 1 hop in it before, and I remember it being quite floral and quite spicy. There's definitely a little bit of an almost kind of peppery spice to this beer. Then round the very front curve of the palate, it's a little bit lighter and grassy, I would say. There's a nice little bit of lighter kind of grassy quality to this beer. Yeah. It's nicely done, this. I like how everything goes together in this beer, but behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get that little oily bubble where those fruity kind of juicy esters start to come out of the beer. With this one, you can feel there's a little bit of a kind of grapefruity base to it. You can definitely pick that up on this beer. Then as it mellows out, you start to get the other things from it. I think there's a little bit of a tangerine orange, and you can pick up the sort of blueberry notes from the mosaic in there as well. The mango is kind of mixing in with that, but that slightly stronger grapefruity flavour, that almost darker grapefruity flavour, does just linger there as you go further into the aftertaste. A little bit of lychee comes out of it as well, and almost a little bit of a kind of pineapple-y flavour. As I say, there's a hell of a lot going on in terms of the fruitiness of this beer, and it's quite interesting as well, because it, you know, you can smell this one, and you can actually, you would predict how it's going to taste, and it comes out, you know, pretty similar to what I was thinking when I was smelling it. It's quite interesting that you don't get a lot of beers that smell exactly the same way as you would think the taste is going to be, but for me, this one it comes across in the flavour exactly as you would expect from the aroma. It's just nicely done. But yeah, you know, that's a good beer, I have to say that. If you get the chance to have a go at this, definitely do. You've got two really good breweries involved here. You know, what more can you actually ask for? So in terms of the mouthfeel of this beer then, I would say carbonation is, you know, is quite smooth on this one. Mid-bodied, definitely. It's somewhere between a smooth and an oily mouthfeel, I would say. Nice little bit of sweetness from the malt base, but overall, again, it's quite smooth. It's the oats, the kind of creaminess from the oats, and a little bit of that wheaty quality that's coming out of it as well. Good bit of hoppy bitterness to this one, I was saying. The sort of spicy notes, which I'm sure is the Brew 1 hop. That sort of spicy note that's coming out of this beer is quite nice. There's a little bit of that lighter grassiness as well, and there's quite a bit of juicy fruit as well. But the grapefruit in this one, I think, is quite prominent. I'm pretty sure that might be the Ella. The Ella gives you a little bit of grapefruit and pineapple from what I'm remembering, but I think that the darkness from the grapefruit in this one does shine through, but then you get more of these kind of complex fruit flavours as you kind of go through this beer. But overall, another really, really good beer from Wylam. Track Brewing Company as well, you know, they're rated highly for a reason, and when the two of them come together, they've done something that's really pretty good, so, you know, it's to be expected. So yeah, I think that's a good way to kind of sign off on this beer. I was expecting this to be quite a good one. It's turned out it is. I'd recommend this one to those of you who quite like grapefruity flavours in your IPAs. I think that's where this one kind of leans to, but it does have a little bit of complexity to it, and it's got that nice kind of creamy malt base to it. If you like the sort of oaty flavours in your New England IPAs, I think this is one that you are going to quite enjoy as well, and that comes out a little bit more as the beer sort of mellows into the aftertaste as well. So yeah, let's leave it at that. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Wylam Brewery and from Track Brewing Company as well. Both very, very good breweries, but this is a really, really nice double IPA. I wouldn't have expected anything less from either of these breweries, and it's been great to review this one. So thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Open 2 Persuasion double IPA from Wylam Brewery and Track Brewing down in Manchester. Make sure you check out Craig's review of the original one if you're interested in that, and if he does do a review of the other one, I'll be sure to add that link in the description below. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Slanger just now. Skull.